looks like the snow is disappearing pretty quickly. We didn't get that huge dump of snow that everyone was expecting. And what's going on today? It's kind of interesting reading this one with a drone light show where they couldn't run it as expected, I guess due to the fact there were so many people using things like internet access. This one says, Davao City's drone light show, a no-show due to slow internet. A lot of companies, it seems like, they're not anticipating technical difficulties as a result of crowds using things like smartphones and so forth, by the sounds of it anyways. This one says at least 80,000 people trooped to Davao City's coastal road in Bago, Aplaya, as early as 4 p.m. on Saturday, March 4th to watch the city's most awaited event, the 3D drone light show, which the city government said was the first of its kind in Davao City's history. But the people's excitement turned to disappointment after the event organizer informed them that the drone show would not push through due to technical glitches. The glitches were attributed to the spectators' use of data and internet connections through their mobile phones, which was said to have slowed down the connections of the drone operators. Kat Dalase Santos, the drone show organizer, told the crowd, "We are asking everyone here at the venue, please turn off your data. Due to the influx of people, as we are at an 80,000 mark attendees, the signal of our drones are being intercepted by the signals of your mobile phones. Signal is at 12%, we need it to be at least 14% to work. Help us give you the best show." By the sounds of it, that didn't seem to have helped as they postponed the event. Kind of makes you think too, like that drone light show here where they advertised the largest in Canada and so forth, where they had to cancel it because they couldn't get the drones, for example, to take off properly. And from what I gather, it was due to the fact that they did not anticipate there were so many people with things like their smartphones creating that extra interference in the area. So it's kind of interesting. People often debate fireworks or drones. Are drones actually ready for the mainstream in a lot of cases? You have so many issues right now. Things like the weather potentially, or now internet connections. Can you imagine telling that to people now? You cannot take videos or photos or whatever of this event. Shut your smartphones off. Kind of like you're in a theater. And this was really fascinating, as there's always that talk on how when it comes to over-the-top drone regulations, it's all fear-mongering. And with this story, it kind of dealt with, by the sounds of it, I guess a health official of sort, who had all of his text messages released, and by the sounds of it, he was using things like the pandemic to scare people into abiding by various rules. This one says, Matt Hancock asked when to deploy next COVID variant to frighten pants off public. Former Health Secretary Matt Hancock reportedly wanted to deploy a new COVID variant in a bid to scare the British public into abiding by lockdown rules, new leaked WhatsApp messages show. The former health secretary hatched the plan known as Project Fear in a bid to get people to stick to lockdown restrictions, the Telegraph reports. Hancock seemingly suggested that a new strain of COVID would be helpful to spread fear among the population in preparation for more restrictions in a series of messages to more officials prior to the third national lockdown in January 2021. Hancock said, quote, "We frightened the pants off everyone with the new strain," to which the Department of Health's media advisor, Damon Poole, responded, "Yep, that's what will get proper behavior change." Wow, that's really bad if that's all true and so forth. It says the damning conversation over WhatsApp reportedly took place 2 days after the politician learned about the new variant, known as the Alpha or the Kent variant. Worried that other items on the news agenda might overshadow the importance of the new strain, Hancock messaged Poole asking, "When do we deploy the new variant?" The Alpha variant of the virus led to a dramatic rise in the number of cases and then led then Prime Minister Boris Johnson to announce people would not be able to travel to see relatives for Christmas on December 19th. And from the sounds of it, they're showing all these text messages, as they say, from this, I guess, WhatsApp leak. You can see in the screenshots, it is what it is. It seems like he's having a conversation with the guy and saying, for example, when did they release like that variant and so forth. And to my understanding, some people are taking that out of context where it's like, oh, he invented, like let's just say the virus per se. That's not the case. It's basically trying to say, how do we or when do we use this news to, I guess, get people to abide? They also mentioned there's like, 100,000 messages, so who knows what else they will uncover. But the interesting thing is, according to this anyways, it seems to be implying that they actually ignored I guess, advice from medical professionals? Because it says here the damning revelations included that Hancock refused to test all going into care homes after being advised by Sir Chris Whitty, England's chief medical officer, for fear that it muddied the waters. That's crazy to think about. How would you react if, at the end of the day, this all is true, where they were using all the information and so forth more as a tool of fear to get people to abide by whatever it is they want? And think of it, for things like drones, people say all the time that's probably what's going on. For example, using fear mongering, this and this, to get people to abide by certain regulations and all that. I wouldn't doubt personally if that's the case. It's just kind of crazy when it kind of comes out, because you don't want to believe like that's the case. But how would you react in that case if you were, in a sense, swindled? What would the appropriate, I guess, quote, punishment be in this case, honestly? I think the other interesting thing to think about is, even from my observation, let's just say it's 100% true. These guys used it more as fear mongering for the most part. I'm more interested as well in terms of how will the average individual that was so for a certain thing react when they read this. Will you be able to come out now and say, okay, I guess we were all swindled per se, or would you still, I guess, insist, no, you have to do it this way, that way, everyone else that disagrees, they can go die and so forth, which some people actually have in terms of the opinion. So it's kind of interesting for me in that sense to see what the result is for people who were so for, let's just say, one way, and that's it, like no other option was viable. Just continually reading stuff like this, again, it makes me glad from day one. My mindset was always the only thing that's 100% is nobody knows 100% what's going on or the best way to deal with it. Alright, see you guys later.